Sup folks, Ray Pipperton III back with another MWZ video. Today I've got a guide to making the most money per game possible without the need for any exploits. It will include an overview of the strategy, a look at what's good to bring in when grinding essence, a breakdown of what to do in each zone and some tips and tricks to getting the contracts done quickly and safely, plus an exit strategy using the Dark Aether to top off the game's loot. Using this guide, it is possible to earn over 100k per game in essence, acquisitions, and equipment. So the basic strategy here is to get to Zone 3 and fly through as many contracts as possible, looting high tier boxes, cash registers, and fridges along the way. Even the low tier boxes contain quick and easy cash sometimes. To comfortably grind Zone 3, you need to get your weapons upgraded to a minimum of purple and double packed. If you're starting with nothing, this means working your way through the other zones as quickly as possible. Speaking of being quick, traversing the map quickly is also vital. Make use of scorcher cases. Packing it once increases the jump height and halves the time it takes to lift off. If you don't have any of those available, use the jumps. Familiarizing yourself with the Aether tier jump locations will save you hours of traversal in the long run, and they're free to use. If you're not flying through the air, you should be tearing up the concrete. Use fast vehicles like the ATV, Chop Top, and UTV to get around. Just don't take the ATV into Zone 3. It explodes very fast. Honorable mention to the LTV, which is fairly quick, can climb over higher obstacles than anything else, and with enough speed can travel great distances through water. The key to making money fast is going with the flow. Take the contracts closest to you. If needing to choose between multiple, go with places with clusters of contracts. Grabbing contracts like raids and OUTLAST that are completed nearby the radio first is the most efficient on time. When out of contracts in the area like this, grab an HVT or delivery to simultaneously move to a new area while doing a contract for more cash. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Finish a contract next to a place with lots of high tier loot like the Duggobai Tower or an infected stronghold. Loot it, especially if in need of ether tools or tacticals for the Dark Aether like monkeys or Casimirs. For more info on finding ether tools, check out the ether tool chapter in this looting guide. Basically, your best chance is in high tier loot boxes. Listen out for those on your journey and loot them. They also contain turret chips, which are especially useful in the high tier zones. Death perception makes the boxes easy to find. Check fridges for perks when you still need them, saving you 2k apiece. Double packed, most guns can handle the Zone 3 raids and OUTLAST. The deliveries are like free money. Make sure to take this shortcut here, and watch out for manglers hiding in the horde under the drop-off point. Once you're triple packed, you can easily do HVTs in Zone 3 as well. If you just need a bit more cash to pack, run through infected strongholds and just grab the random essence. If you don't shoot any assists, it's an easy 2k or so. I like to do all tier 3 contracts except the escort and the spore controls. They both take a while and can be riskier than the others. Chain the contracts together, always grabbing the next closest one. When the gas is close to covering the Dark Aether portal, head over and go into tier 4, or if you have an Elder Sigil, tier 5. For more info on mastering the Dark Aether, check out the guide on screen now. Alternatively, you can just tombstone an Urzikstan and start another game where you can get straight into Zone 3 and make even more. Extra points for tombstoning next to your favorite perk Easter egg for another 2k savings at the beginning of next game. The less time you waste, the more money you make. So if you have ether tools and pack crystals, it can be wise to bring them in. This will allow you to skip Zone 1, and depending on the level of crystal and tool you bring in, Zone 2 as well. With a double pack crystal and a purple tool, you can easily jump right into Zone 3 and start grinding OUTLAST, raids, and deliveries until you raise 15k for pack 3 when you can safely start doing HVTs as well. Consider these an investment, as if you bring these in once, grind a full game in tier 3 in the Dark Aether, with the cash and random stuff in your tombstone, you'll be able to go right into Zone 3 every game after that until you exfil. Plus, it won't be long before your tombstone is full of flawless crystals, orange tools, Elder Sigils, and ultra cases. You can then exfil when you have tools and crystals again off cooldown and stash away the loot for when new content drops, or you want to help a friend do a mission, kill the red worm, or run tier 5. Bringing in kitted operators obviously helps as well. That said, 2 plates can quickly and easily be stolen from merc camps, and both 2 plates and backpacks are very common in lockers. There's a large cluster of lockers in this area in these 3 buildings. Fill the rest of your backpack slots with the perks you like best in an ammo mod. For me, I like Brain Rot with Speed Cola, Tombstone, and Deadshot best when grinding high tier contracts. If you're not going to the Dark Aether, there's no need to bring in more than 1 gun. If you are, make 1 good for killing specials and 1 good for crowd control. If you have wonder weapons ready to go, you can get more to replace them in locked rooms. More on those in the Dark Aether guide. Another thing to think about if you plan on going to tier 5, an Aether Blade and gold plate will go a long way, and in a game or 2 going into the Dark Aether, you'll have them back. The goal in Zone 1 should be to get out of Zone 1. I rarely get any contracts in Zone 1, as with a solitary decoy you can easily distract the zombies in front of a tier 2 delivery garage, open the side with the truck on it, and hop right in without fighting a single merc or zombie. With the ones where it's 2 mercs guarding the doors, just show them the business end of your vehicle. Extra points for parking it neatly at the pump when done. It may come in handy later and you'll be glad you did. Sometimes if I spawn far from a Zone 2 delivery, I'll grab a Zone 1 HVT or delivery just to make some money while I relocate. That said, there's some areas of Zone 1 with great loot. Clusters of registers like here at the bazaar have a great time spent to money ratio. Hit them up. Now you can make a similar amount of money just grinding tier 2 deliveries and HVTs and never go to the red zone. But then you are stuck in a repetitive loop with very little challenge and exciting gameplay. This can get boring fast. On the flip side of the coin, this means there's no need to spend the money to triple pack. Shit, with some guns you don't even need to go past single packed and a decent rarity. This saves a lot of money, but you can make that back and then some in the Dark Aether with contract money and the best loot the game has to offer. And you won't be able to go in there without being triple packed and kitted out. This is much easier to do, getting 5k a contract and stumbling upon high tier loot boxes around every corner like you do in the red zone. The choice is yours. Once you get enough to double pack, most guns are capable enough for Zone 3. Grind deliveries and HVTs, the 2 quickest contracts, until you get enough and head into tier 3. If you're just double packed, grind Outlast, raids, and deliveries. If triple packed, grab them all, whatever's closest. If I am not rocking a super powerful meta gun, I cancel Disciple HVTs. They are frustrating and take forever like a mega bomb, without the ground loot as a reward for your effort. On the topic of HVTs, deadbolt turrets make easy work of them. If you have circuit boards for them, there's no need to wait until triple pack to take HVTs. If there's no turret close by and your gun doesn't cut it, just cancel the contract. And speaking of canceling contracts, this can be the best way to cycle through contracts you don't want to do. If no one else is in Zone 3, it's a victimless crime. The infected strongholds in Tier 3 have a very high drop rate for purple and orange tools. I have a guide to easily clearing those on my channel as well. I will now go over some tips and tricks to individual contracts. This contract is easily handled with a decent double packed purple weapon, Deadshot, and Speed Cola. Just come to this side of the banister and don't go past this point and everything will come from in front of you. Pop an energy mine back here as backup when you get overwhelmed. Near the end, some specials will join the fun, but by then you should have 1 or 2 energy mines placed. Between those and your weapon, you should be good to finish up the contract. If need be, you can then take out the remaining enemies outside where there's more space to maneuver. Once the contract is over, enemies will now come over the banister here regardless of positioning, so watch out for that. This Outlast is easily handled up on the 2nd floor near the PAP location. All enemies except the occasional special will climb up here on the crates for easy deletion. Pop a backup mine here for emergencies and drop any extras into the horde climbing up or on special enemies that spawn. If need be, you can back onto the castle wall and clean up some enemies as they funnel outside. Alternatively, you can just jump down and go up onto the other side. Don't be shy with decoys, there's an ammo depot outside. You can also just camp the roof near the dome and it will continue the progress. I'm not sure if this is intentional though, so it could get patched out. This raid is easily completed from the same position on the roof. All zombies will climb up the scaffolding here. As with the other two tier 3 contracts I've detailed, all you need is Deadshot, Speed Cola, and a decent double packed purple gun, and you can make quick work of the enemies the contract spawns. Drop backup energy mines here. You can put layers of them here, as worst case you have them for next time you do a raid here. All 3 of these contracts are great for grinding camos as well. Once you are armed to the teeth, kitted out, and the gas is closing in, consider going to the Dark Aether. The best loot is found in here, and much of it you can only get in there. This includes loot that makes your next loot grind much easier, like the Aether Blade and Golden Plate acquisitions and schematics. It is also the place where I've found over half of the purple and orange Aether tools I have ever found. Not to mention you can come out with 15,000 more essence if you complete all 3 contracts, and up to 4 wonder weapon cases. If you need help with the Dark Aether, I cover all aspects of it in the Mastering the Dark Aether guide. When you tombstone in the DA, it will show up in the graveyard in the mountains on the northeast side of Urzikstan. But that about wraps this one up. Hope it helps out. Peace!